The TTC's transit union tonight highlighting what they believe to be a major safety concern. Those Presto fare gates right behind me here at Wellesley Station and at subway stations across the city currently aren't patched into fire systems, and that's got one of the heads of the union fuming, claiming passenger safety is being compromised.
This is outright negligence on somebody's part.
The transit union secretary-treasurer not holding back today as he sounded the alarm bell.
If these gates don't open properly, I think you can just use your imagination to say you're going to have a lot of people trying to get through, and it's a catastrophe waiting to happen.
We've confirmed none of the Presto gates at subway stations, all of which are owned and operated by the TTC, are connected to fire panels inside the stations. The panels still need to be upgraded. Until then, they won't open when an alarm sounds. So that's about the only thing the two sides agree on.
They're creating a fear that is not necessary for the public. The fare gates are safe. Exiting the TTC in an emergency is safe. Absolutely.
Today, the Transit Commission fired back at the union, outlining in the event of a power outage, all doors will open. There's a manual hatch which can also be pulled, plus the gates, which can reportedly be pushed open, already open automatically when exiting for around 10 passengers at a time before closing briefly and then reopening again.
But that's a ludicrous statement. So the 11th person dies or gets trampled on, but the first 10 get through?
We would argue that the new fare gates that we see in our stations today make exiting in an emergency less cumbersome than through a turnstile or at an auto entrance where there's high gates.
It's a claim backed up by Toronto Fire today, but not by the transit union.
Safety has been secondary in my opinion, and this is an example of it.
City News has also learned that 3 subway stations, Midland, Ellesmere and Glencairn, which all have outdoor platforms, do not have any fire alarms, something which will be changing.
The system was built in 1954, and not all stations have fire alarms. If there's an emergency, for example, a fire at track level, people will be shown out the station by TTC staff.
The union did claim today that the Presto gates currently break fire code. I spoke with Toronto Fire's deputy chief, who confirms they do not break code. Since the stations are not brand new and are being retrofitted with the gates, the TTC has been granted time to get everything up to speed. Plus, Toronto Fire ensured all stations have those emergency hatches.
I'm sure a coroner inquiry will love that answer. When and if it ever does happen. That's unacceptable. I don't get it. And why didn't they come public with all this?
Now, the TTC tells City News they will be updating the fire panel systems as well as the gates inside, though only as a redundancy, and there's no timeline for when that work will be completed.